شرفنا الله سبحانه وتعالى بالنبي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وأكرمنا برسالته صلى الله عليه وسلم فبنى حضارة المنصفون تعجبوا من بنيانها والحاقدون تململوا من إنجازاتها إلا أننا لن نتوقف عند إنجازات الرعيل الأول ولا الإنجازات التاريخية، إنما أود أن أتحدث عن مقومات هذه الحضارة. I guess most of you are non-Arabs. I'm guessing just from your faces. So it's not fair to do the Arabic and then you are like, as we say in Arabic, the deaf in the wedding. So anyway, alhamdulillah, we've been honored by your attendance, and especially we have Dr. Ahmed Juma amongst us. Barakallah fi. So I'll be focusing on the pillars of the Islamic civilization. When we talk about civilization, usually the first thing which comes to our mind is achievements. First thing, what is the Islamic civilization? We go to the sciences, this, that, and the other, and these achievements, which, alhamdulillah, we feel proud of it. But when we dig deep down into the pillars and the principles of this very civilization, I just want to break it into mainly 5 things. We might add to this, we might do subdivisions and the like of it, but nevertheless, I'll just focus on around 5 things. The first one, it's a divine system, which we call al-wahy, the revelation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down to humanity revelation. Since Adam alayhi salam till the last prophet and messenger Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. This very divine system has been perfected with his message sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It's never been perfected before. Allah never said before, I have perfected this divine system for you. But with the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, amongst the last verses, probably the last verse which has been revealed upon him on Arafah day, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, on Friday, it was al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. This day I have perfected for you your religion, wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati. I have bestowed my mercy upon you. وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. And I have accepted Islam for you as a way of life. So this is the perfection. And from there we have seen the fruits of this perfection reflected in the achievements. But before these achievements, we want to see these pillars. Before going into the building itself, we need to see these pillars, which the whole civilization was based on. Simply, it's al-insan, mankind. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with this perfect system, divine revelation, He was focusing on the carriers of this civilization, mankind, al-insan. So number one, we see that Allah Azza wa Jal has freed the minds from the old traditions and being enslaved to idols and airy-fairy stuff and the like of it, where the divine system connects the individual directly, without any intermediaries, without a third person. It's a direct relationship between us and Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is number one. And we can talk loads on that, which we call the aqidah, the creed. Monotheism and tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was the main and the first thing that Allah has sent to all messengers. And this is the common thing across all religions and all prophets and messengers. The relationship between the individual and the Creator, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's based on monotheism, tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do we govern this relationship? We have plenty of narrations in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, plenty of verses in the Quran which governs this relationship. And number two, our relationship with ourselves. So this very special system which Allah perfected teaches us how to deal with ourselves, i.e., how do we fill the gaps? Filling the gaps in our education, in our moral conduct, in our character, and so on. So it's about purification. يُزَكِّيهِمْ, as Allah called it in the Quran. He purifies them. This purification. Purification, this is how we deal with ourselves. So He taught us how to deal with Him, and we have a complete system under that, complete science under that, and how to deal with ourselves. يُزَكِّيهِمْ. So this very tazkiyah, purification. Purification of, first, the heart, purification of intentions, where we have ikhlas and devotion and perseverance and the like of it. And the purification as well goes into our salah, which is purifying us from our sins, our shortcomings throughout the day. As in the very famous narration, Prophet ﷺ says, have you seen somebody who's washing himself up 5 times a day? Would there stay anything of his dirt on his body? They said no. And he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is the example of the 5 prayers a day. So it's washing our sins, purifying ourselves every salah. So He taught us how to deal with ourselves, how to purify ourselves, our hearts. And this is one of the very tough tasks when we deal with the heart. Because looking after yourself and putting on your clothes and looking after your appearance is a very common thing. But looking after your heart is not a very common thing. Why? Because usually what is exposed to people, we tend to beautify it more what is not exposed to people. I don't want to go through our houses and tell you the story from inside. Okay. So this is what you usually do. But purification of the heart is one of the tough tasks. So to purify your heart from rancor, from hatred, from envy, from arrogance, it's not easy. And these are very common diseases in every community. It's not an exclusive property for the Muslim community. It isn't. It's a common disease, or diseases, I would say, across the board. In every community we have these diseases. So unless we learn how to purify our hearts, we are living in an internal spiritual chaos. And I'm pretty sure many of us are suffering from this. How many times you were just envying your colleague or your neighbor or your friend for something which you dearly want, but you didn't get it. And it gives you sleepless nights sometimes. So we have remedy for this. This is the purification process. So the Prophet ﷺ taught us how to deal with ourselves. So our relationship with ourselves. After we fix the relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal, we need to fix the relationship with ourselves. And then from ourselves, how to deal with people around us. And under that we have subcategories. So people, it includes number one, prioritization. Number one, parents. How do we deal with our parents? We have a special system, which we call the birth system, if you want. Being good to your parents, plenty of verses in the Quran, narrations in the Hadith, and so on. Number two, how to deal with our arham. Arham starts with your siblings, with the close family, and then the extended family. So we have this very interlinked system, very strong bondships between the family itself and the extended family. And imagine, when we talk about the civilization, it's the outcome of all of this. Sound relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sound relationship with yourself, sound relationship with your family, and sound relationship with the community. And under each we have plenty of rulings. So dealing with your neighbors, dealing with your friends, dealing with your colleagues, how to run your business, how to do this, how to do that. And with that, introduction of responsibility. Our actions are responsible actions. We can't say that I'll do something and somebody else will carry the responsibility. As long as you are an adult, the responsibility lies on you. Children might be a different story, especially it's under the supervision of the parents. But as long as we are adults and sane, responsibility lies on us. So Islam teaches us how to be responsible. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. So connecting belief with action. Belief with action, action with responsibility. So we do not have the concept of somebody else will carry this on my behalf. We don't have this. Let alone shafa'a on the day of judgment. We are not talking about the day of judgment. Yes, intercession. We are talking about the dunya. So this responsibility is so important. It teaches us that you have to go and seek your provisions, your rizq. Rely on Allah, but you have to work. So we do not have the concept of reliance with no action. Tawakkul with action. We can't have tawakkul with no action. And again, we have plenty of narrations on that. So this responsible action is interlinked pretty much with our iman. So iman drives us to do good deeds. And when we talk about the action itself, we have a whole methodology how to do actions. Prophet ﷺ, in different narrations, he was talking about perfection of one's action. إن الله يحب من أحدكم إذا عمل عملا أن يتقنه. Allah loves from you, if you want to do something, to perfect it. And I'm pretty sure you'll be surprised if I told you about the event where did he say this, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I was surprised when I read it a long time ago. So we were familiar with this narration that he said it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but I was not aware where did he say this. In the graveyard. He saw somebody, alayhi salatu wasalam, building the some bricks on the grave. And it was a bit wonky, a bit not good. And he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, do it properly. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, this is a grave. And he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ مَنْ أَحَدِكُمْ إِذَا عَمِلَ عَمَلًا أَنْ يُتْقِنَهُ. Allah loves from you. If you want to do something, do it properly, with perfection. Don't say it's the grave. Do it properly. So, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was keen on teaching us perfection. I know some people are into, it's like a common practice for them. Hallucination sometimes about perfection. And perfectionists sometimes are a big hustle in the team, because sometimes they will stop the team from moving forward quickly. So we need perfection, yes, but sometimes not to be obsessed with perfection. If you can make it not 100%, but it is fine, 99%, it's okay. Don't need to do 100%. If you can, fine. Sometimes the time will not allow you, the budget will not allow you, the other events around you. So we need to aim for perfection as much as possible, but not to be troublesome people with our OCD sometimes with perfection. It's another story to tell. Psychologically, some people are into this area. Yes? So the Prophet ﷺ was teaching us how to perfect our actions, how to perfect our intentions, and how to perfect our character. أكمل الناس إيمانا أحاسنهم أخلاقا, as he stated sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the best of you in their iman are the best of you in their character. So yes, the best. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Tell my servants to say what is best. Not just what is good. What is best. See? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then teaching the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam how to build this perfect civilization. When we build a perfect human with perfect character, with perfect intention, with perfect action, then we have perfect fruits, inshallah ta'ala. As much as possible, within the possible means around us. Then we have our relationship not just with humans around us. And under human we have Muslims and so on. How do we deal with that? This relationship has to be based on loving goodness for everyone, regardless of his or her faith or his or her religion. Loving goodness for everyone. And Muslim Imam Ahmad, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب للناس